Ho, ho, ho. Welcome everybody to the 3rd annual Shifter gift guide for cyclists who don't think of themselves as cyclists but want cool stuff for Christmas anyway. I'm Tom and this is Shifter, a channel about urban cycling, bike commuting, and the ways we get around our city. This is practical everyday things for those of you who like to use your bikes for transportation in the city. Let's just dive in, get those Christmas lists ready. All right, let's start down here with pedals, because these are some pretty interesting pedals that were sent to me recently. This is from a company called Intrinsic, and the product is basically a soft pedal. You know, his pedal is scratching his walls when he's carrying his bike, or rubbing on his vehicle and scratching it, or even, as we all know on a bike, you know, when the pedal comes whipping around and hits you in the calf and it leaves those puncture wounds from the grippy bits. Yeah, that's a problem for some people. And the founder got tired of that, so he had this thought of like, why aren't pedals softer? And so these pedals are interesting. They are soft. They're definitely made from a material that will not scratch your walls when you're carrying your bike up to your flat or your apartment. But they are sturdy enough that you can still pedal. Like, you can still push down on them, give them some good pressure. It's got this grippy tape on there to help. And they're quite interesting. I was a little skeptical. I thought maybe it was a bit gimmicky, but I put them on and ridden around for a week or so now, and they're pretty good. They're actually, once I started riding, I didn't think anything of them at all. We'll see over the long run if this grippy tape holds out, you know, because I think you could probably wear it down. It's a bit like sandpaper, so it has a shelf life on it. And so if you're tight for space, worried about that, or just want to save your calf or your shin from getting smashed by the pedals, this might be a good option for someone on your list. While we're on the topic of pedals, the second item on my list is a repeat from last year. So these are Arclight by a company called Redshift. And they sent me a trial pair of pedals last year, and I really like them. And they've actually improved them this year, so I brought them back onto this year's gift guide. And what's cool about them isn't the pedals so much themselves, but what they do, and that is they light up. They have these inserts, which you can charge and then slide them right in here. And I gotta say, the best part of these pedals might be the satisfying click when these things slide in there. It just feels so good. The nice thing about them is that no matter which way they're facing, they will turn, the light will change color. So if it's behind you, it will be red. If it's in front of you, it'll be white. So that's a really nice thing about them. And I gotta say, since using these over the last year, I don't think anything has ever drawn more attention from passersby than these pedals at night. They're a really good way of lighting you up, partly because they're always moving because you're pedaling, so I think it makes you a bit more visible. They're a bit unusual, so the motorists take note of them, so that's really important as well. And they do a pretty good job of lighting you up. Last year, my complaint with them was that the pedal itself wasn't great. It was a bit slippery on it, like it didn't have a lot of grip, so my foot would slide off a little bit, especially when they were wet. But they've improved them this year, so as you can see, these are pretty heavy-duty ones. They've got these pins, so my foot is not going anywhere on these ones. The downside of these is they're a bit heavy, so if you're a stickler for weight, this might not be the pedal for you. So there you go, Arclight by Redshift, one of my favorite products from last year, improved for this year. Okay, so the next product on my list is for helping in a crisis. If you get a flat or a puncture and you need to put air in your tire, or it's just low, that's not a crisis. If you just need to put air in your tire. And this little thing is actually a bike pump. It's called cyclist. I don't know how to pronounce that. I feel like something was lost in translation. Cyclist. Yes, it's a little electronic bike pump. So it's got a little cable. You charge it with a battery. It's got attachments for both Schrader and Presta valves. I'm usually a Schrader man, but for some reason I've got Presta on right now. You pop it in here, turn it on, and then hit the button. And it starts pumping. That's it. What I like about this is its compact size. You could just throw this in your bag and just forget about it until you actually need it. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. And it might save you in a pinch. Now, for those of you who just rolled your eyes at the last gift idea, because who needs an electronic pump when hand pumps work just fine, I'm here for you because I bought this pump this year, and it's been quite good. This is a Specialized 90cc little hand pump, and as you can see, it's slightly bigger than the electronic one I just showed you, but not that big. So it's another thing you could just throw in the bottom of your bag and forget about. And you never have to worry about batteries with this thing. What I like about this one is that this part extends and it's a bit flexible. So one thing I find with these pumps sometimes is it's kind of hard to maneuver them into place to start pumping. But this one makes all the difference. I quite like it. It's got Presta and trailer, one on each side. And you connect it and you just start pumping away. Again, like the last pump, these are hard to get your tires up to full inflation if you've got a high pressure tire, but this will save you in a pinch. And so for those of you, people who like mechanical things out there, this pump will be there for you whenever you need it. I'm quite excited about the next item on the list because I've literally never put these on, never tried them. I thought I'd save it for like a live demonstration. These are called Hindsight, and it's a pair of sunglasses. Here's the unboxing. There's the most simple unboxing of all time. The interesting thing about these sunglasses is these are glasses that are intended to help you see behind you. And so let me just take these out of here. They have little mirrors on them that allow you to see behind you, which of course would come in handy on a bike. Okay, here we go. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see like on the sides here, little mirrored sections there. I don't know if you can make that out on camera, but that's the mirrored part, I guess. So let me try these on. And let me see. What? Oh my, you can actually see behind you. This is really cool. Huh, who knew? So it's very subtle. It's just on the edges, and the mirrors do sort of fade into the rest of the glasses. So I can see my bike sitting behind me on that side. I can see it there. Wow, interesting. Like, I don't think you would be able to see everything behind you. It's more just like, you know, those glances over your shoulder when you're riding, especially in traffic, just to see if anyone's there. This might just give you like a peripheral sense of what's behind you. I'm sure you've seen those mirror add-ons to sunglasses, like a little mirror that goes on here, which is the same kind of idea. I guess the nice thing here is that they're integrated into a pair of glasses. If the pitch is that you can sort of get a sense of what's behind you when you're riding a bike, I would say mission accomplished. Okay, I want to talk about bags for a few minutes because when you're an urban cyclist or a commuter, you need to carry stuff, and it's really important. And I'm lucky enough on this channel to have a sponsor that is Two Wheel Gear. They've been an amazing sponsor for the last 2 years. They have great products. I've never been let down. I use them every day, and I've been using them for much longer than they've been a sponsor of this channel. So they're great. But what I've noticed the last couple of years is that I need some help organizing within the bag. I used to just throw everything in there, and then I'd always be digging through it trying to find what I need. And, you know, a computer, charging cords, cables, headphones. But lately I've been trying out a new Two Wheel Gear product, and this is their new clutch bag. And it's a tiny little bag that can fit a lot of your stuff. I get all of my cords and cables in here. I've got a pen, a little notepad, all the stuff that I carry with me on the way to work every day. And it fits in there quite nicely. But what's nice about this one is that not only does it fit inside of my other bag, so I can put this in and I just pull it out when I get to work and all the stuff is there, but it also can mount on your bike. So if you don't always have to take it, like say you don't need your big bag when you go into work one day, you can just grab this, attach it to your bike and go. It's also got a handle so you can carry it. It is a clutch bag. And it's also got a carrying strap. So it's pretty versatile, and I really like that, so I've been using this quite a bit. And, you know, honestly, let's face it, this is a purse. Thank you, moms of the world, for your purses over the years. I feel like I finally realized that, you know, I need a purse also. So I'm not going to call it a purse, it's a clutch. But anyway, this is a good option as well. One of the great things about having a sponsor like Two Wheel Gear, along with them just being a great partner, being open for anything, aligning with my values, and offering great products, plug over, is sometimes they just send me stuff. Like this year, they sent me a bunch of these. They're called Tack straps. And when I first got them, I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do with these things? What are they for? But oh my God, I've used them so much that I had to throw them in here as well. They're just straps, but they're made with a really interesting material that's a bit stretchy, but also clingy. I've used these to affix things to my bike so often. Bags, of course, this clutch bag is affixed here with 2 of these straps, but I've also attached selfie sticks to the bag. This may not be a problem for you, but when I'm recording videos, I often use a stick. And so for years, I struggled to figure out how to get a selfie stick attached to that, to the frame. And these, bam, bam, they lock in there really nicely. They don't give way, they don't slide. You know, like 2 little clips and they're on there and they're not going anywhere. And so these are great. I was surprised how much I've used them. These might be a great stocking stuffer for that bike person on your list. Yes, now I'm going to talk about a helmet. So I'm lucky enough in my city that there's enough safe, dedicated bike infrastructure that I feel pretty safe riding without a helmet. But there are often times when I do. If I'm going on a road ride or a mountain bike, of course, I'll wear a helmet. And I know lots of you out there wear a helmet. But I thought I would bring this one up because it's interesting because it seems to serve two purposes. It's a helmet, so it will protect your head if that's important to you. But this helmet's from Lumos, and one of their things is that it's got lights on it, and so being well lit is important for safety in a city. And I can't think of a product I've seen that gives you this much light. So it does have this headlight on the front, which is nice, and also it's got this giant screen at the back that can display a whole bunch of different patterns, and it can really light you up at night. And so I think if you are going to buy a helmet and go for it, I think this is a pretty good option because it does keep you lit up as well. It's a bit heavier. There is a big battery in here to make this work, but I think it might be worth the trade-off. This helmet does also have an app, which I find a little annoying when products like this have apps. I've got so many needless apps on my phone, but whatever. The app does let you change the pattern on the back, and this is kind of cool if this matters to you, is that it does have a turn signal on the back also. Using the app or a Bluetooth connector that sits on your handlebars, you can hit the button and this will blink like a car. It'll tell people behind you which way you're going. So yeah, that might be useful. I mean, you should still be using your arm signals, as we all should be, because that's important, but anything to keep you visible I think is not a bad thing. Okay, the next thing on the list is not so much a product, but an idea. As the holidays approach, that also means the cold weather is coming. And if you live in a cold weather climate, the complaint I hear from most people riding their bikes through the winter is that their feet and their hands get cold. And I'm continually amazed living here in Canada that not everyone does this, because you should, but wear wool socks. I don't have a specific brand to recommend because there are lots of good ones out there, but make sure they're really wool. Read the materials list. It's got to be real wool. Merino wool is the best. It's a bit more comfortable, but any wool will do because it helps keep your whole body warm if you keep your feet warm, especially when you're outside riding a bike. I like the tall ones. I like to hold them up as high as possible. I find those keep my legs warm through the whole day. And they're really important. It's amazing to me that not everyone has a drawer full of these if you live in a cold climate. Wear them every day, even if you're riding your bike or not, but especially if you're riding a bike. So the next gift on the gift guide today is not something I can show you, it's just an idea. And that idea is roadside assistance. There are lots of different organizations that are starting to offer roadside assistance for people on bikes. In my area, it's actually the Automobile Association. Here it's called the Alberta Motor Association. In the US, it's AAA. And these organizations have existed for years to, like, if you get a flat tire, they'll come and rescue you, or if you need a boost in your car. But now they're offering roadside assistance to bikes as well. And I think this is a pretty cool thing, especially for people who are a little tentative about their bike mechanic skills. If people are riding and they're nervous about getting stranded somewhere with a flat tire because they don't know how to change a tire, they're not very good at it. This is a nice peace of mind, I think, that you can offer as a gift to somebody. So kudos to the automobile associations that are doing this. I know in some other places there are bike-specific organizations that will do this. I think that's great. I think that's a pretty good gift idea, especially for those people in your life who may be a bit tentative about riding their bike as a commuter. So the last item on my gift guide today is the best gift you can ever give anyone, which of course is a good book. And so I've got a few recommendations today, 2 new ones and then a classic. So the 2 new ones, the ones that have made the biggest impression on me, Jesse Singer's There Are No Accidents. This is a look at this word accident and the way we use it to try to avoid culpability or responsibility in so many aspects of life, when in fact, accidents are rarely accidental. That was a terrible description. And in the world of like urban cycling, collisions on our roads, even though we call them accidents, we call them car accidents all of the time, they rarely are. Often they are the result of systems that we've set up for specific political or financial or reasons of zoning, but they've been set up in specific ways, and the direct predictable result is often these collisions that are totally damaging to society, to families, to ourselves. It was really eye-opening for me. It made me feel outraged in lots of cases too, about how we are so complacent about the carnage that happens on our roads so much too. So really eye-opening, that's a good one. The other one I really enjoyed this year was Paved Paradise by Henry Grabar. This book is about parking and all the ways it impacts so many things about life in our cities. Everything from the cost of housing to zoning, to density, to how our roads are designed, health and our activity levels. And it's actually quite fun despite all those heavy topics. He has a really light touch with it. It's really fun, points out all these absurdities that have led to this sort of parking dominance in all of our conversations about urban life. If any of you have read Donald Shoup's The High Cost of Free Parking, there won't be a lot of new ideas in here, but it's a really fun read, a little bit more accessible, and does expand on some of those ideas, so it's a really good one. And the last one I want to recommend is a classic, which is a great gift, and that is, of course, The Power Broker by Robert Caro. You probably know this book because I feel like anyone who cares about cities should have read this book. And it's a great gift because it's a generational read. You're going to pass it on. It's amazingly written, maybe the best nonfiction book of all time. And what I like about it is how it explains so much about the development of modern cities. It's about Robert Moses in New York, New York's master city builder, but it goes so much deeper than that and does help explain a lot of things about the development of cities today, about our car-centric ways. So it's a really interesting read, and it's a great gift because it'll sit on the bookshelf. It'll make that person look smart, but also if they do get around to reading it, it'll really give them new insight into how our cities work. Okay, that's it. Those are my suggestions for this year's Shifter gift guide for cyclists who don't consider themselves cyclists but use their bike for everyday, practical, affordable transportation. I can never remember the name, but I hope that was helpful. Also, if you have gift ideas of your own, please share them in the comments. One of the best parts about this over the last couple of years was some of the great suggestions that people down below shared. So please drop your ideas in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and happy holidays.